Hello, hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another StarCraft 2 netcast. And today it's going to be a Protoss versus Terran. So let's just go ahead and get started. Up here in the top right hand corner, we do have the green Protoss. His name is sPcReclaimer. Sorry. This is actually a Purdue StarCraft player who has played, I think, a couple of games for the Collegiate Star League, and he does have another account. He used to be named SPC Cloud, I believe, so forgive me on that one. But his opponent over in the bottom left-hand corner, his name is Fate, and he's going to be spawning as the blue Terran. Look at those blue SCVs mining, the same color as the minerals. That means that they actually mine twice as fast. Nah, I'm just kidding. They actually mine the exact same rate. But it looks like Fate is going to go ahead and get started off with that very annoying Terran wall-off. For any Protoss players, you know what I'm talking about. The Terran decides to go for this wall-off. They end up making a barracks over here. And what ends up happening is that the Protoss has a very hard time scouting a little bit later on. But it looks like sPcReclaimer actually deciding to send out that probe pretty gosh darn early. I believe that was a probe sent out right after that pylon was started. So he is going to be able to come in and see, oh, actually interesting decision. sPcReclaimer deciding not to opt to scout out what these gas geysers had. And that's actually a very key thing to see in this matchup. To see when that Terran takes the gas geysers, as that is very telling. Ooh, actually sPcReclaimer having a little bit of regret on not coming in to see that gas. He does see that there is that wall off, and this is the wall off that I was talking about. If you send out that probe a little bit too late, you'll end up having this issue where the probe gets completely blocked out of the Terran's base, does not get to see the gas, does not know whether if there is some kind of fast expansion coming on from the Terran player, or if there's a big aggression coming on. Maybe both of the gas geysers were taken very early. There could be some kind of Banshee play. You want that probe alive as long as possible until that first Marine finally kills it off. But meanwhile, we do see a pretty standard looking build from sPcReclaimer coming out. He's going to go ahead and get that cybernetic score. We do sometimes see that after one gateway, a Protoss will decide to take this expansion over here. And, you know, I think sPcReclaimer making the right decision. He does not know whether or not the Terran has taken that gas, and usually if the Terran takes a gas, that usually will mean that the Terran is going to be a little bit more aggressive before he decides to throw down an expansion. So Reclaimer actually just going to go ahead and be a little bit safer on this, and to go ahead and make his cybernetic score first, make sure you can get out a Stalker, and maybe start Warp Gate technology first. But meanwhile, we do see the command center for Fate. The Terran opponent for Reclaimer has already started his command center. So that is going to mean he's going to have a slight economic edge if Reclaimer doesn't start his Nexus in the near future. But it looks like Reclaimer, again, does not know exactly what's going on. So he's going to go ahead and play it a little bit safe, going to wait for the Stalker to come out. We do see now that he has saved up that money, and there's the Nexus about to be planted down. So, you know, Reclaimer is far and away not very far behind. We can see, thanks to that glorious Chrono Boost for Protoss, well, actually, he's actually not utilizing that Chrono Boost maybe to the full potential he could, unless he's actually intending to Chrono Boost some kind of technology out later. But, you know, Protoss does have the Chrono Boost to allow them to get workers just a little bit faster, and that will make up the fact that Terran does have these oh-so-imba and now dead mule. But, you know, it's very important for Protoss to have just a couple more workers than a Terran opponent, as, you know, again, those mules will account for a lot more of the economy than the Protoss. So the Protoss has to make up for it by using the Chrono Boost and getting out more workers. So we do see this expansion finally up from Fate, just again a little bit ahead of Reclaimer. Now he's going to go ahead and start throwing down the mules. I do like that decision. It's a very subtle thing, and not something that a lot of people will think about all too much. But oh, hold that thought. There is, oh, a really nice play from Reclaimer. Ooh, not so nice in losing the Stalker, but you know, Reclaimer knows that this bunker is placed very beautifully. It means that if a Stalker tries to come in, if he wants to try and get vision of this command center to make sure that his opponent has in fact expanded, then the Stalker would actually end up taking regular damage past their shields if they actually got vision of this. So Reclaimer, what he does is he uses the Stalker as a buffer for damage and sends the probe in, a very subtle thing. So the probe he knows is going to die, but he'd rather lose that single probe than his Stalker, which he ends up losing the Stalker anyways. But a nice attempt at a very strategic and very subtle play. Anyways, we did see the robotics facility being completed during all of that very subtle scouting method. And we do see, wow, quite a few gateways coming down from sPcReclaimer. It's going to be interesting to see whether he decides to put on some kind of immortal aggression. We do see a couple of sentries out. Sentries, very important in this matchup, will stop any Marines and Marauders from being able to just stim and come up and just start sniping off all the units. It'll also stop Marines and Marauders from stimming and then doing that kind of kiting action against Zealots and Stalkers. Instead, you can place those force fields behind the units and make sure that they do not have anywhere to run. You can't run anymore, you annoying men and other men. I actually believe that I haven't seen a female Marine in any of the StarCraft lore, so I do believe that all the Marines and Marauders are men. But of course, the ghosts are sometimes female, as we know that there is that ghost from the StarCraft 2 campaign known as Nova, as well as Kerrigan. So, you know, the females clearly just have the more intellectual mindset to be able to use telepathy and all of that kind of stuff. We do see this force moving out, so it looks like sPcReclaimer is going to use... I keep saying Cloud Reclaimer. sPcReclaimer is going to go ahead and use these sentries and this Immortal to put on just a little bit of pressure. No, it looks like he's just going to go ahead and snag a third while he goes ahead and takes this Xel'Naga tower. So a nice play from sPcReclaimer. Now he's going to put on a little bit of aggression. I don't expect this to be a super all-in-ish kind of move. I think that he just wants to see what he can accomplish, and if needed be, he will try and use those force fields to make sure he can escape. And this is going to be a very risky timing, as we can see in the production tab. Concussive shells and stim is just about to complete. Let's see what he can do. The observer is out, so he will be able to see exactly what forces exist. And it looks like Reclaimer is going to go ahead and decide, hey, you know what? That's actually a little bit more than I want. Ooh, but hey, if you're going to leave me some free Marines, I'll go ahead and take those. So we're going to go ahead and snag those up like a little bit of ice cream, actually just barely keeping that sentry alive. Ooh, that would have been actually really bad if he had lost that. That would have been 3 force fields lost. As we can see here, 150 energy now built up, and we do want to save that force field energy for a Protoss player. Meanwhile, in Fate's base, it looks like he's doing a great job. Is starting to research that +1 weapons upgrade. It's very important for Terran and Protoss in this matchup to keep up with their upgrades. This is actually sometimes said by a lot of pros to be the matchup with the most important emphasis on upgrades, as those Marines attack so darn fast, so their attack damage upgrades help out so much in the battles. The Protoss wants to increase their armor upgrades to stop that damage from the Marines and the Marauders, as well as getting some weapon upgrades for their Colossus. As we do see, speaking of Colossus, we do see a robotics facility, robotics bay on its way. That actually rhymed. I think that was actually a beautiful rhyme. I'm going to have to remember that for the future. But, ooh, and I do like this play as well, getting a second observer. We do see already 1 observer out on the map. He was poking around earlier, and it looks like, ooh, actually another just small subtle thing is that this Zealot is over here scouting for that third's timing. Day 9 oftentimes says the third is the most important timing in your entire game plan. It's the most telling one. When you decide to take your third is really indicative of the kind of game plan that you do have. And right now, seeing as Fate has not taken a third and also does not know about the third that is now up for Reclaimer, he is looking to be putting on a lot of pressure before he gets his too many medevacs out. Looks like he's just going to have 2 medevacs popping in just a second. Where are the medevacs? Where are the medevacs? Here are the medevacs. They're going to pop out in just a second. There are the glorious medevacs. The hope for the Terran army, so that, you know, when they finally do turn to drug abuse, or, you know, some kind of Zealot harassment or stock harassment, they will be able to heal up that army. And now Fate actually realizing that there was that Zealot there, the Zealot getting a nice scout off to see that SCV. If Reclaimer was paying attention, he will know that the third is now getting started. So Reclaimer's going to feel like he's in a pretty gosh darn good position. Actually, Reclaimer a little bit behind in workers, and he should be chrono boosting some of these out, not actually utilizing his chrono boost to the full potential. This Nexus is a little bit low on chrono boost, but he should be chrono boosting out either probes or this thermal lance upgrade so that he can put on a little bit of pressure, or at least chrono boosting out a couple of Colossus. Now we do see that, I think first Colossus out for Reclaimer, and now he's going to go ahead and get these gas geysers up. Meanwhile, Fate, let's see where his upgrades are at. He's at +1 weapons, and I believe he's getting, +2, +1 now. So he's going to be 1 ahead in weapons for probably the remainder of most of this game, depending on how long this game ends up going. But now we do see Fate deciding to move around on the map, just I guess make sure that he is well positioned with his army. He can go ahead and move his army around just to scout for things like proxy pylons that could be very, very annoying. But speaking of proxy pylons, Reclaimer does have this pylon over here, and he's able to warp in these zealots to do a little bit of harassment. Let's see the kills on this. We have 2 kills and 3 kills. So, 4 zealots for 3 SCV kills, not great. But he did delay mining a little bit. He forced the command center to lift off, although he is going to lose that pylon now, so he's not going to really have any proxy pylons on the map anymore. He's going to want to go ahead and get those out ASAP. This SCV deciding, hey, you know what? I have gas. That means that I'm really good, right? I can just dump this gas geyser all over your zealot head, and what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And I'm actually just going to go ahead and wait here for this. I mean, there's a Templar Archives being built. There's a Planetary Fortress being constructed. More Vikings being produced. And there, the SCV finally realizes that it cannot actually withstand the pressure from 3 Zealots. So this is going to let this Zealot, who's getting tased for a little while, definitely not very fun to get attacked by that little stun gun from a SCV. So he's going to go ahead and kill it, rank his kills up to 2. Still a little bit of a disciple, but one day he will be promoted. Maybe he'll be a commander. I actually don't know the rankings for a zealot. But sPcReclaimer going ahead and getting those upgrades as well, and now going for that +2/+2 and chrono boosting it out. I think that Fate has +2/+1 and starting +3/+2. Yep, there we go. We see. Is it ship platings? Ship platings, a very interesting decision from Fate. He wants to make sure that those Vikings are getting maximum usage. We can see over here that this Viking is sitting at +1 weapons. Yeah, that's going to be +1 weapons, so we will be able to kill off that Colossus all the more faster. It's very important to kill off that Colossus as soon as humanly possible, as the Colossus ends to so much damage. We don't see any kind of a ghost. We don't see a Ghost Academy out on its way, so he is going to be a little bit unprepared for that High Templar switch. Do we see any High Templar out quite yet? We do see 3 High Templar, and they will have Storm as soon as Psionic Storm finishes researching. Now it looks like the Terran army is going to be coming at a pretty good angle, and the Protoss army a little bit unprepared. The Zealots trying to get out to the front, and there is a huge amount of damage coming down from these Colossus. The Colossus slowly getting picked off by those Vikings, though. The Stalkers now starting to work their way on the Vikings. The force field's pretty good and stopping quite a few of the Terran units from really being able to attack him. I think that Reclaimer has this battle in the bag, and the Colossus being so invaluable in this battle. He does end up losing all of them, but he will be able to clean up the entire army of Fate without too many losses other than the Zealots and the Colossus. So that means that these very important Immortals will stay alive. Look at how important this Immortal is. 17 kills. It is a master Immortal. It has mastered the art of walking around on, I think, 4 feet. Even though, actually, I guess Stalkers also walk around on 4 feet. But, he's going to very much enjoy using these blasters. Maybe he will take this Immortal as its disciple, as we can see here. This is clearly the master disciple. But at the same time, we do see the 4th up for Fate, so that is going to mean he's going to have his 4th up a good bit before Reclaimer. But we can see the food count. It is 119 supplied to 160. Fate is really going to have to remake that army as fast as possible while trying to make sure that he does edge out that economic advantage. We do see, again, 69 SCVs, so you might be thinking, hey, he's behind in workers, but you're forgetting he does have quite a few mules, and as soon as this expansion does start to get up and he does remember to call down those mules, he will be able to call down, I think, 5 or 6 mules. So that's going to really help to boost that income. As we can see here, he has quite a bit of gas, but not that many minerals. So he's going to want that those minerals to spend that gas. And he does have his Ghost Academy finally up, and he is producing multiple ghosts now. So those ghosts will definitely help to drain that gas income. Meanwhile, it looks like we do see +3 weapons, +3 armor finishing up, or actually not even close to finishing up, more like halfway done for Reclaimer. And in Camp Terran, we do see +3 already finished, +3 armor. Just getting started right now, but you know, he is going to be very out of position to deal with this aggression that's likely going to come down on his 4th, but at the same time, that means Reclaimer is going to be unprepared for the damage that's going to come down to his 4th, so this might end up being a exchanging of the 4th bases. Hopefully we're going to see a very exciting battle following soon afterwards, or even a base trade. But oh no, it looks like Fate deciding not to go for the aggression. He's just going to go home and try and defend. The workers trying to defend their planetary fortress, repairing it, but not quite getting it off in time. There's just a little bit too much damage per second, and I do like this play from Reclaimer, just going ahead and saying, hey, you know what, I just killed your command center. What are you going to do about it? I'm just going to head home. Oh no, but these High Templar are moving just a little bit too slowly. Fate is on his tail and is not going to be able to have a chance to snipe off. No, he's actually not going to chase directly after the army. I do believe that actually would have been a little bit of a riskier play. He would have been walking through this very, very narrow choke. So he would have had to deal with potential side storms, Colossus coming in, and oh, I actually like this play. Deciding, hey, you know what? If you're going to snipe off some of my stuff, I'm going to go ahead and snipe off some of your stuff. So he's going to go ahead and use this drop. Oh, actually getting a free Colossus. That's a huge win. As we do remember from the last battle, the Colossus count got reset. So that is going to mean that these Vikings will have to... Oh, actually, there are not quite enough Vikings. And oh my god, that is a money storm, storming all of the army and all the medevacs and all of the Vikings. And this army is going to get cleaned up instantly. No storm dodging. No stim and kiting up or doing any sort of really solid micro that Fate really needs to do to stay in that battle. And the Colossus count still up. We do see still quite a few Stalkers are going to have a heyday with these medevacs. Going to be able to blink forward, take off all the medevacs. Will they get this one last medevac? No. Looks like, oh, actually does manage to get the medevac. The blink is about to come back up too, so they will be able to blink away from this little Marine Marauder strike force, I suppose. And we'll have to see how much damage is done. We do see a pretty annoying amount of... Oh my god, that's so painful. 1 second away on both of his upgrades. 2 seconds actually on his armor. But the pylon that was powering these forges gets depowered, as well as these 2 gateways. Very annoying, but no critical damage done that Fate really needed to get back into this game. He's not going to be stopping Colossus production or anything, and I really think that Fate at this point... Oh my god, hold that thought! 10 High Templar were just morphed in. Where are they? Where are they? 10 High Templar. We see here 4 High Templar. This is another 2, so that's 6, 8, 10 High Templar. Can I say that one more time? 10 High Templar. That is so much gas. That's actually over 1,000 gas, but hey, if you have the money to spend it, do it, man. I mean, hey, good for a Reclaimer. He's going to be trying to take this expansion. Actually already has that building. It looks like Fate is going to be a little bit saddened to see that this expansion has already been taken. We see here now Fate saying, oh shoot, that gas guy's taken. Well, maybe he hasn't built it. No, he's built the Nexus. So very annoying. And actually, yeah, okay, that wasn't his main Nexus, but oh, actually Dark Templars, a great Warp Prism play. I completely missed it. He's going to be able to snipe off the Ghost Academy before Cloak gets finished, and that's actually going to halt Ghost production as well. We can see here there are 3 Ghosts on the map right now, but that's really going to hurt as there are so many High Templars. We were talking about before, these Ghosts being so gosh darn annoying. Luckily for Fate, he is going to have quite a few scans to deal with these Dark Templar. There goes 2 of them, and there is this last one over here. Oh, a couple more being warped in. This Warp Prism just going to barely, probably... Oh, the Warp Prism is actually going to be fine for now. Now he's going to get sniped off. But this one Dark Templar is going to be very annoying. He's going to force all of these scans to be used. Those would likely be wanted to be mules. And it looks like Fate going with the Scouting Orbital Command. I wonder if Reclaimer is ever going to move out and go ahead and kill off this Orbital Command. A little bit of an interesting decision, just kind of sit by with this army. I'm pretty sure he sees this horrible command. Just going to warp in one stalker, now sending off some of his other stalkers. But it looks like Fate deciding, hey, if your army's going to be a little bit split up, I might as well go ahead in and see what damage I can do. The Colossus getting some initial shots off, and the EMPs are pretty darn good. All of these High Templar are losing all of their energy. This is the time that Fate has to strike. Fate has to do a massive amount of damage with this. All the 3-3 upgrades are completed for both of these players, and oh no, but it looks like the army just isn't enough, and it looks like the Terran player a little bit angry about that loss, not really sure what else he could have done, decides that it's just time to tap out, time to leave, and that's gonna call game. Again, actually, I think yesterday we had another game where there was no GG called. A little bit sad to see that, but I'm sure Reclaimer had a lot of fun with that game. He got to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 base Protoss against the Terran, and that feels really good. Having a very solid Colossus count. Let's actually take a look at the kills here, as these Colossus have just been so invaluable. We can see they're at least totaling up to around 10 or so, or 15. I don't think he has that. He does have one Immortal left alive. So, I mean, if you guys don't have any interest in this, you guys can actually just leave, but I really want to find... There's the Immortal. Executor Immortal. His poor friend, his apprentice Immortal, that he was, the master for, actually ended up departing. He had to lead a very sad life. No one should ever have to see their son be buried, as... I think that's a Lord of the Rings quote, completely misquoted. But, he kept living. He is now an executor. That means he's actually that one very annoying guy that's in your head saying, you have not enough minerals. So after this entire battle, he's going to go ahead and retire happily and just tell people that they don't have the minerals. And you know what? You're supply blocks. you're still supply. You're still supply block. Okay. Anyways, this Immortal aside and his very calm life, in the future aside, a very good game from Reclaimer. Thank you so much for sending me this replay. If you guys have any other replays that you want me to cast, go ahead and send them to feardragon64@gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave any advice or comments or anything that you want to see or hear, or anything you want me to improve upon. Just let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys later.